If I was your best friend, I'd want you around me all the time. Can I be your best friend if you promise that you'll be mine?
Either way, leading up to the proposal, I was like, yo, okay, well, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, this is what I would like. And I told her the concept of what I wanted for the painting. And then so it's got this pretty huge painting. It's pretty big. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get her this for Christmas. And then I'll just still propose to her with this. Mm-hmm. So the night before, I went to your mom's house. I don't know where you were. I think, where were you? I don't know where you were.
Maybe on a trip.
Yeah, somewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she was a flight attendant at
during that time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Were you already a flight attendant?
Or was I?
No.
I was in train.
I don't know what it was, but she was somewhere.
Yeah.
And I went to her mom's house and basically told her mom that I was going to propose to her because I just felt like, that was the respectful thing to do. So I went to her mom's house. It was her mom and her then boyfriend there. And we sat on the couch and I was like, well, I just want to let you know that tomorrow I'm going to propose to Jazz. Mm-hmm. And she was looking at me crazy. She was looking at me crazy. Now, mind you, she was looking at me crazy because she lived this thing out with us, right? Yeah. So she served with us. She's fed us, the ministry, other friends that come over, like we've hung out around her with her. Like, so she clearly seen that we were friends.
Right.
So she was just confused.
Right.
And she was just looking at me kind of crazy. And she was just like, I thought y'all were just friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we are. And she was like, so what makes you think she's going to say yes? And I was like, well, I don't know that she's going to say yes, but that's the thing. Whether she says yes or no, it's going to be an honest answer, and it's not going to be influenced by any interactions, like intimate interactions that we've had. Mm-hmm. So whatever her answer is going to be, it's going to be an honest answer.
Yeah.
And she's still sitting there looking confused. Her friend sitting next to her, he's like, that's so dope. You know what I mean? And then she's like, okay, well, I mean, let me see the ring. And he's like, you can't see the ring. But the funny thing,
even in that's so good because, and this is not to say that like people are this shallow, right? But for some, the determination of whether you're good enough for my daughter could be based upon the price point associated with that ring and not the actual commitment of the person and the integrity of the person and the preparation of the person for marriage.
Yeah, or even the that's really good, or even just the price tag that comes with the individual altogether.
Yeah, like you can't afford my daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of thing. Now, fellas, I'm not saying that to say that you need to jump in a scenario where that you can't afford. That's not what I'm saying. But what we are saying is that making sure that you're making a decision or a decision based upon the actual authenticity of what's being carried out and not the shallowness of it.
Yeah.
But even what you mentioned in that, like, that's how I felt around doing how I did it,
right.
Because I didn't want that stigma. I didn't want that feeling. Right. And that's the feeling that I was getting when I first originally started looking for a ring. And then I was just like, I don't like this feeling, because it felt like to me that in that moment started to become more about the ring than the actual proposal and the actual meaning behind it. So that's why I toned it down for myself personally, so that I didn't miss out on the experience of what it was either.
Right.
And what I could add and what I could live in that moment with you. Because I could easily reflect on that moment completely different than your experience of it. And I had to take responsibility for making sure that I was in alignment in that moment as well, and not just trying to perform in that moment, which a lot of times us men, we can get caught up in the performance of things. And then we lose the experience of the moment because we're just looking to perform for our woman or for the lady or for whoever. So I asked her, and the very next day was the day of the proposal. But I want to ask you, which we already know. Go ahead.
Didn't you ask my dad?
No. So basically, I did let your dad know though. That is a good point, because I often forget that because it was on the phone.
Right.
And then that moment with your mom was very a big moment.
Yeah.
But so I reached out to her dad. So at the time, her and her dad wasn't seeing eye to eye, but I didn't feel comfortable not reaching out to her dad.